I've always been fascinated by old, forgotten places. The kind of spots you see on the side of the road, swallowed by ivy and time. That's how I found the Blackwood Sanatorium. It wasn't on any map, just a rumor whispered among urban explorers. A massive, decaying structure deep in the woods, with a history as dark as its name. The stories said it was abandoned overnight in the 1950s, but no one ever said why. So, one Saturday, I packed my camera gear, a powerful flashlight, and a healthy dose of skepticism, and I drove out to find it. It took hours of navigating overgrown logging trails, my car barely squeezing through, but then I saw it. The sanatorium was a Gothic nightmare, its stone walls stained black with mildew, windows like vacant eyes staring out from behind a curtain of tangled vines. The air was heavy, still, and unnaturally cold. A rusty iron gate, half off its hinges, groaned a welcome as I pushed it open. Stepping onto the grounds felt like stepping into another world. The silence was absolute, broken only by the crunch of dead leaves under my boots. I found the main entrance, the heavy oak doors surprisingly unlocked. The moment I crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut behind me with a deafening boom that echoed through the cavernous lobby. My heart hammered against my ribs. I told myself it was just the wind, a draft. I spun around and tried the door. It was sealed tight, as if it had been welded shut. Okay, deep breaths. I was an explorer. This was part of the thrill. I switched on my flashlight, its beam cutting a sharp cone through the thick, dusty air. The lobby was a wreck. A grand staircase swept upwards into darkness, its banister rotted. Furniture lay overturned, covered in a thick blanket of gray dust. But what was truly unsettling were the personal items left behind. A child's doll lying face down on the floor, a single leather shoe by the reception desk, a half-finished game of checkers on a small table. It was as if everyone had vanished in an instant. I decided to start with the ground floor, documenting everything with my camera. I moved through patient rooms, the infirmary, the dining hall. Each room told a story of sudden departure. Trays of fossilized food, beds left unmade, medical charts scattered across the floor. In one room, I found scratch marks on the inside of the door, deep gouges in the wood, as if someone had been clawing desperately to get out. A shiver traced its way down my spine. This wasn't just abandonment, it was flight. As I ventured deeper, started hearing things. A faint whisper, like a breath just behind my ear. The distant sound of a music box playing a warped, off-key melody. I'd freeze, sweeping my light across the empty hallways. But there was never anything there. I kept telling myself it was my imagination, the old building settling, the wind playing tricks on me. But the feeling of being watched was becoming overwhelming. I made my way to the West Wing, which the legends said was the psychiatric ward. The atmosphere here was different, heavier. The air was thick with a palpable sense of sorrow and fear. The doors were made of heavy steel, with small, barred windows. Scrawled on the walls of the cells were frantic, overlapping messages. Words like, "He sees," "Don't listen," and "It's in the shadows." That's when I heard a distinct sound. A soft, rhythmic tapping. Tap, tap, tap. It was coming from the end of the hall, from the last room. The isolation ward. My blood ran cold, but my curiosity, my stupid, reckless curiosity, pulled me forward. The door to the room was slightly ajar. I pushed it open, the hinges screaming in protest. The room was bare except for a single metal bed frame in the center, and on the far wall, a dark, viscous substance was dripping from the ceiling, forming a small puddle on the floor. It looked almost like tar. Tap, tap, tap. The sound was coming from inside the wall. As my light panned across the room, it caught something that made me freeze. In the corner, huddled on the floor, was a figure. It was small, childlike, with its back to me. It was wearing what looked like an old-fashioned patient's gown. "Hello," called out, my voice trembling. "Are you okay?" The figure didn't move. The tapping stopped. The silence that followed was more terrifying than the sound itself. I took a slow, cautious step into the room. "I'm not going to hurt you." As I got closer, I saw that its hair was long and matted. Its skin was pale, almost translucent. I reached out a hand, about to touch its shoulder, and then, it began to turn its head. Slowly, impossibly slowly. The neck seemed to stretch, the bones cracking and popping with the sickening wet sound. I wanted to run, but my feet were rooted to the spot, paralyzed by a primal fear I had never known. The head completed its unnatural rotation, and it looked at me. Its face, it wasn't a face. It was a smooth, featureless mask of skin, except for a wide, lipless mouth that was stretched into a silent scream. And from that screaming mouth, the whispering I'd been hearing all day came rushing out, a torrent of overlapping voices, full of pain and terror and madness. He sees. Don't listen. It's in the shadows. Get out, I screamed, stumbling backward, tripping over my own feet. I scrambled to my hands and knees, crawling away as fast as I could, not daring to look back. The cacophony of whispers followed me, echoing through the halls, amplifying, bouncing off the walls until the entire sanatorium seemed to be screaming at me. I didn't care about the exit anymore. I just needed to get away from that thing. I ran blindly, my flashlight beam bouncing chaotically. I crashed through a pair of doors and found myself in what looked like the main administrative office. My light fell on a large, leather-bound book on the main desk. The head physician's journal. A single entry was circled in red ink, dated October 31st, 1956. My hand shaking, I read it. He's no longer just in their minds. I saw him today. Not a hallucination. A physical form. It mimics the patients, preys on their fear. It takes their voices. We cannot contain it. We cannot fight it. God help us. We are not abandoning this place. We are sealing it. We are leaving them all to him. A floorboard creaked behind me. The whispering was closer now, right behind me. I didn't turn around. I ran. I threw myself against a large window, the glass shattering. I tumbled out onto the soft earth, cutting my arms and face, but I didn't care. I scrambled to my feet and sprinted through the woods, not looking back. The sound of 1,000 stolen voices screaming my name from the windows of the sanatorium. I never went back for my car. I ran until I hit the main road and flagged down a passing truck. I never told anyone the full story. Who would believe me? But sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet and the wind is blowing just right, I can still hear it. A faint, distant whisper. Tap, tap, tap. I know it's just my mind playing tricks on me. It has to be, but I always sleep with the lights on now, because I know what's in the shadows, and I know it sees. Thanks for watching. If you have your own stories about places that should have stayed forgotten, share them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations into the unknown. Stay safe out there.